We have 4 or 5 staff members going around the state checking out towns that have been hard hit. And if my office can provide any information that Vermonters may need, please give us a ring at our toll-free number, 1-800-339-9834. And we will try to get you as much information as you can, how you can access flood relief.
Okay, and that's a number for Vermonters.
That's just for Vermont, right.
Flood relief, not people who want to call into the program.
Right.
Right. And to call in, well, I won't. People know how to call in the program. So anyhow, last night the night before last, we had the Republican debate. Last night the president gave a speech, some fairly clear contrasts. I'm curious your thoughts on all of the above, particularly the president's speech.
I was there. I thought, A, the speech was very well written, and B, I thought he delivered it very, very well. The issue that we're dealing with, Tom, as everybody knows, is real unemployment in America today is not 9%, it's 16%, counting those people who have given up looking for work and those people who work in part-time who want to work full-time. We have millions more workers who are working longer hours for lower wages than they used to. So we are really in the midst of a horrendous economic crisis not seen since the 1930s. I think the good news is that the president provided maybe a little bit more than some of us had feared, but what remains to be seen is whether, given the extent of the high level of unemployment that we're now facing, whether what he has proposed will go far enough. Certainly and absolutely, he touched on some very, very important issues. As you and I have discussed many times, the infrastructure in this country is collapsing. The American Society of Civil Engineers suggests we need to spend over $2 trillion in the next 5 years just bringing our infrastructure up to a passable level. The president has proposed to put $50 billion into infrastructure. That is a good start. I hope that we can substantially raise that money, not only because we have to rebuild our roads and bridges and water systems and high-speed rail and broadband and so forth, but because that is also the fastest and most effective way of creating jobs. So I think his talking about infrastructure, putting in a significant amount of money, although not enough, is a good start. When the president talks about rehiring some 280,000 teachers, police, and firefighters, he's absolutely right. Local and state governments are stressed out. We have politicians talking about the need to educate our kids so they can compete in the global marketplace, and yet we are laying off hundreds of thousands of teachers, child care workers, etc. That is totally absurd. So the president makes a good point. He is proposing to spend $35 billion in that area. The president wants $10 billion for a national infrastructure bank, which is an interesting concept. He wants $15 billion to rehab homes and vacant properties, which I think is a very, very good idea. So I think when the president talks about investing in America, investing in our kids, investing in our infrastructure, putting veterans back to work, I think he's doing the right thing. Where I have some concerns is a very significant part of this $447 billion package has to do with tax breaks, extending and expanding the payroll tax holiday. Now, what's the problem with the payroll tax holiday? And Tom, not a lot of people are discussing this, but it's important to raise this issue very forcefully. This money is money that is being diverted from the Social Security Trust Fund. So right now people say, well, isn't that great? I'm going to get a $500 or $1,000 or a $1,500 tax break. Yeah, but that money was supposed to be going into the Social Security Trust Fund. Now what the president will say is not to worry. The federal government will cover that. Will cover that. Problem is the federal government has a $14+ trillion national debt. Social Security is under attack every single day. So I am less than enthusiastic about seeing substantial sums of money diverted from the Social Security Trust Fund. Yes, working families need a tax break, but I want to see that money come from another source other than the Social Security Trust Fund. Second point of concern, President talked about, quote unquote, reforming Medicare and Medicaid. Well, we don't know exactly what that means. If the president is, for example, suggesting that we can save substantial sums of money by having Medicare negotiate prescription drug prices with the pharmaceutical industry, as does the Veterans Administration and the Department of Defense, that is an excellent reform. Excellent reform. On the other hand, if his so-called reform means that we're going to raise the eligibility level for Medicare from 65 to 67, that is a disaster for a whole lot of people. I just want people to be thinking about someone who's 66, doesn't have a whole lot of money, and has some serious health issues. Where do you think you're going to be able to get the health care that you need? No insurance company, no private insurance company is going to provide you with a package that will work for you. President also talks about, quote unquote, reforming Medicaid. I don't know exactly what that means. What I do know is we have 50 million people in this country today who have no health insurance. And if reforming Medicaid means throwing people off of Medicaid, that is not a reform that I will support. In terms of health care, whether you talk about Medicare or Medicaid, what must be understood is, of course, we need significant reforms. And the direction that we should be moving is, in my view, is a single-payer Medicare for all program for every man, woman, and child in this country. And I say that not only because it's the moral thing to do, it is the cost-effective thing to do. Right now, as a nation, we are spending close to twice as much per person on health care as do the people of any other nation. So we do need reforms to make our system more cost-effective, but reforms should not mean raising the eligibility age for Medicare or throwing children or working families off of Medicaid.
It's a great analysis. Senator Bernie Sanders is with us. It's our Brunch with Bernie hour here on the Thom Hartmann program.